Alright, so for this video I'm going to go over the basic setup for the SG5 Forester fog lights. They fit 03 to 05 Foresters with the standard USDM bumper. If you swapped out to a JDM one or something, and these won't fit, yeah, so the way I did these to try to keep costs down, the standard fog lights on them come in a bracket like this. I've already removed the fog light. I think I even pitched it a while ago, so I don't even have the original fog light. But I mean, if you pull your fog lights on your car, you'll see them. They're actually mounted just like this. There's a little bolt that secures it up, and then there's like a little pop tab, and then another bolt down below, and then it just pops right out. The way I designed these is just to be drop-in directly on that. So what you can do, you'll have to remove this here, which is the adjustment screw. So this is for angle up and down, and you'll take that out, and then to get the assembly out, you'll also have these two side screws that secure it. You'll pull them out. Just like that. So you have those three screws, and you got the bracket. Now the next part will be to grab the appropriate. They are obviously mirrored, so you know, one is for the driver's side and one is for the passenger. So this is a driver's side bracket. So the way that'll work, you'll take the adjustment screw, slides through the top with the spring, goes behind it like that, and then that will secure just tighten it down just enough that it doesn't fall out on you. And then you've got the little side screws here. First one, down a little bit more, try to even it out. And then the one on the other side. Just kind of start it. So that is in. And I'm just going to kind of visually inspect it, try to get it as close as you can, so hopefully you don't have to really adjust it much once it's in the car, but you may have to adjust. So I can see that's kind of about even, and that's it. So it's installed into the bracket. The next part is you're going to have your driver here. So the driver just plugs right in like this. So it'll be like that. And then with these, what I would do is might actually be easier. I would secure it to the back of the bracket. So the way I'm going to do it, I'll run this through here and secure it right like that. Just use a zip tie or something. And you can run that through here, which is like a little, there should be a little cable from your factory setup here. You can pop that out, just slide it through there, secure that. Right like that. And it's pretty much in there. If you want, I mean, you can try to do another zip tie on the side or whatnot, but that should hold it good enough that it won't go anywhere. Then you go back and connect the driver to the fog light itself, like that. The next part is some little bags that's included here. Got this here. Which will, I'll get the backers. Just snap right in. So that's in. I will include these little adapters, and the way that those work, you can just tap directly into the original plug. I looked a good bit online trying to find the size of plug that is on the Forester. I could not find anything. It's not a standard size. So this will work. You can just tap directly in. The biggest thing is to make sure that whatever you run, the ground has to go to ground and power has to go to power. It will not turn on if you flip those. So if you're having issues and it's not turning on, you're gonna have to flip these. Whatever your connection is to the car itself, you got to make sure. So like, I mean, I'm looking at this one here. I even did it wrong. Like, this plug will only go in one way, so I should have flipped these two. So the black and the red flipped around. But I mean, even by the point that you get these on the car, you could even just pull them and just switch the wiring on the actual vehicle, and that'll work. This here is your turn signal input. So if you want to have the switchback function, you got to wire tap this in. Wire taps are included. So you just run this up to the headlights, to the big turn signal bulb, and you'll tap this into the actual 12 volt turn signal wire using this. The way these work, it just slides through like that. Looks like it's pushed down a little bit, so you gotta kind of like pull up this pin just a hair and it'll slide right through. And then your turn signal wire, we'll just say this is the turn signal, will just slide through like that. And when you got both wires in, you clamp it shut, snap it shut, and you've got a solid connection to your turn signal inputs. So also you will have this wire here, which is part of the DRL harness. So this harness is included. You got the short side and the long side. So like, you're gonna want to run this to the battery. There are fuse taps that you can use as well that will go into two different style that will go directly into the fuse box, so that you can run off of that. And this wire will tap into that one. You just gotta strip a little bit of the wire off, tap it right in, and then this is your DRL signal. You only have to tap into one DRL, but you do have to do the turn signal on both sides. So that'll give you your parking light input. This will give you your power. And there are instructions included. So I mean, all of this will pretty much be accurate. The only changes are that I've had to add these plugs for you to tap into the existing wiring on the car, and then the brackets themselves you'll have to install and remove your old fog lights out and use the brackets. That's about the only difference. But yeah, I mean, it's all laid out pretty easy. You got a wire goes to that, goes to the driver, just comes out, you got your plug. That's the fog light plug, goes to the car. Your DRL connector, which is this, the turn signal positive pole, right turn signal positive pole, which are the yellows. The blue is your side light parking lights, and the green, which will tap into this red one. Either one of them, just depending on what type of fuses you're running. I think our cars are this one, but I gotta have to double check. Fuse tap that will tap into the green. Just strip the end of that wire off, put it up in there, tap into the fuse box, and you'll get your fuse. If you want, you can also go direct to the battery, but you have to add an inline fuse if you want to do that, but either one would work. And I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot more to it. It's pretty simple. The biggest thing, if they don't turn on, you got to flip your positives and negatives. So that, I mean, that'll be the biggest thing with the actual fog lights themselves. The halos and the turn signals will be tied in with your DRLs. So when you flip the switch on the top of the steering column, that should turn on the DRLs, and your hazards or your turn signals should make the turn signals function. As well as when you put it in gear, it should also make the halos engage. But if you're parked and you want to turn them on real quick, you can flip that switch. These are 3D printed, so I mean, you know, it's not like a mold. It's not like perfect. I don't want anybody to think that they're getting some high-end manufactured blow molded product. And unfortunately, it's not that. I'm not set up to be able to do that. But I try to get the fronts as smooth as I can. I sand them, I paint them, I do all that to try and make it as clean aesthetically as possible. But you know, behind the scenes, this stuff you're never gonna see. Unfortunately, you know, I don't know, maybe I think my printer's a little bigger than it probably needs to be, and so it's not as accurate. But yeah, I mean, I've calibrated the steps and all that. I don't know if anybody's a 3D printer whiz. Maybe you can tell me what I'm doing wrong, but as far as the fronts go, they're solid. These are made of ABS, so they will take heat. You shouldn't have any issues with that. It's basically 3 pieces that are put together. It's really pretty much impossible to 3D print something just like this. I mean, you would have a heck of a lot of waste. But yeah, so that's the basics. Just trying to hopefully alleviate any questions that may pop up when it comes time to actually install them. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. They do come in both a 5500K and a 3800K, so kind of like a yellow and a white, basically. Beyond that, it's just the switchback is white with the yellow for the turn signals, but for the most part, that's what it is.